This episode of Another Sports Podcast is brought to you by Pro Image Sports. These guys have everything. Hats, shirts, pants, socks, underwear, bumper stickers, literally everything. If you are a sports fan like I am, head down there or even check out their website, proimagesports.net. They have tons of great stuff for your hardcore sports fan. Tell them Rhett sent you. Once again, go ahead and check them out, proimagesports.net. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very, I cannot stress this enough, a very special edition of Another Sports Podcast. Today we have our first ever guest on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, a former Super Bowl champion, an NFL defensive end, had quite a tenure for multiple teams, but ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, he was a part of the 1985 Super Bowl champion Chicago Bears. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, number 98, Mr. Tyrone Keys. Going to be here on Another Sports Podcast. We just got to get him on the phone. But I'm excited. Evan, are you excited, man?
Yeah, first ever. I mean, we've been doing this for a little over a month, and we already have a guest. And then I'm sure possibly at the end when Mr. Keys hangs up, we're going to announce one more thing for tomorrow. So,
yeah, man, it's crazy. He's calling me in right now, so we're going to go ahead and welcome him to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tyrone Keys. Let me answer the phone for him. Hello, Mr. Keys.
Hey there.
How you doing, Mr. Keys? We are live, man. You are here on Another Sports Podcast. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No problem. I'm really glad you agreed to come on. It's great. You know, it's great to have a guest on the show, but you know, it's really awesome to have you on the show. I really appreciate it. But ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, Mr. Tyrone Keys, member of the 1985 Super Bowl Chicago Bears, one of the greatest defenses of all time under Coach Mike Ditka. Now, before we get into some stories that you have from the Bears, Mr. Keys, I know you have a foundation that helps out around here in the Tampa area. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it started after I left the Chicago Bears in 1985. As you mentioned, I thought it was one of the greatest teams of all time, and we were putting together a run there, man, to try to go after the Steelers record. You know, the Steelers, they were dominant. They won like 4 Super Bowls in a row. After our Super Bowl, Buddy Ryan ended up, like most coaches, their desire is to become a head coach, so he ended up leaving. And then we got a new coach to come in from the CFL, Vince Tobin. Buddy went on to become the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. So with that being said, a number of the guys from that team ended up leaving. I was one of them. I was put on waivers and thought I was on clear waivers because we ended up running a different defense. The next year we went with a 3-4 instead of a 4-3. And so they needed that kind of made me expendable there. So anyway, I was put on waivers there. I'll never forget it. And, you know, a guy get put on waivers. For you guys who don't know what waivers mean, they can put you out there, and if another team doesn't claim you, you can come back to the team. Well, Tampa Bay Buccaneers had the worst record in the league the year before and the year before, so it's equivalent to the college draft. So the team with the worst record, they get a chance to pick the first player that's on waivers that they want. And of course, they chose me, and I'll never forget when Tampa Bay called me. I answered the phone and I said, "He's not here." He's not here. I'll never forget it. I said, "Man, I'm going from the penthouse to the outhouse." I called them back and said, "You know, I'm coming. Just tell me when the plane ticket is, and tell me what time I need to be there." And Howard Tippett, who coached us at Mississippi State, was our defensive coordinator. Previously, he was here as a special teams coach, so it was a familiar face. And I said, man, what the heck, man? I'd go down to Florida. And little did I know, man, that would be a life-changing event, getting involved with the school district here. Never forget the team. I had this vision in on my journey because of my seventh grade coach. He was playing in the NFL. He wasn't a well-known player, but he subbed. He was a substitute school teacher, and I never forgot it, man. I probably feel like a lot of the kids who have a chance to meet me, I felt just like that, and I never forgot that feeling because I had accessibility to a pro player that was at my school, and I made a commitment to myself that if I ever get a chance to make it, I would want to do the same thing in the off season. So with that being said, I ended up starting teaching for a number of years, and then when I saw that there was a lack of students knowing how to parlay their athletic ability into finding scholarships, I ended up putting together the highlight films, and that was about 20 years ago. A number of the students that I helped many years ago, 5 of them are now principals, over 100 of them are youth coaches and teachers, and it's just great to see, man, that they were able to take advantage of the football field, the athletics, and the academics, and parlay it into something bigger for themselves and for the next generation.
Yeah, and that's great. And you were telling me the other day we were talking, and you like showing. You told me you like showing kids how to get opportunities with football that's more than just football. And that was, I think, one of the things you were talking about when you brought up how these kids have gone on to be coaches and principals and things like that. And that's a really great thing that your organization helps do here in the Tampa area.
Oh yeah, well, just a few minutes ago, I just got wind of, I took you down memory lane of being with the Tampa Bay Bucks, but 5 years ago, 5 of the young men that I work with, they came back to the area and they wanted to start a youth football program, and I offered to assist them, and I assisted them with getting the helmets, helping them write a grant to the NFL Foundation. And this team is located in Suitcase City, so it's one of the poorest areas of Tampa. And income bracket is like $14,000, $19,000 per household. And so the kids can't always afford to pay for the uniforms and things like that. Well, anyway, let's fast forward. So the players, they impressed me so much because they wanted to monitor the kids' grades. And one day when I came by practice, I noticed that the kids were bear crawling and rolling, and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Man, this is their punishment because they didn't bring their report cards in." And so that let me know that how serious that they were. But they have gotten the attention of the big brothers, the big Buccaneers, because of their commitment and compassion for the kids. And how about this weekend, for the kids and Jamal Jefferson, who's one of the coaches, they're going to go out and represent the Buccaneers as captains. And man, can you imagine being a 10, 11-year-old kid being chosen to do that?
Oh yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's crazy. You walk out center field, you're alongside these NFL captains, and there are just 60, 70, maybe not 60, 70. There is, dozens of thousands of people in the stands just watching you, and you're representing your program and your team with your that you're with. That is really, really awesome.
Oh yeah. And so I never got a chance to serve as a captain at that level, but now, just by being diligent and following the call of the big man upstairs, I get a chance to witness a lot of things. I get through this young people who have come back to give back, and that's the beauty for me.
Yeah, and that's amazing. Now I know that you had brought up that when you got the call from Tampa, you responded and said that he's not here. Now, I guess first impressions do mean a lot, but how did you actually? I mean, did you enjoy your tenure here in Tampa? I know you played a couple seasons, but how was that? How was that for you? Did you enjoy your time in Tampa? Is what I'm trying to ask.
Well, yeah. I mean, looking back at it, it was the best thing that happened for me because had I been in Chicago, I never would have learned the process of putting together a foundation because in Chicago we were stars and we're still that team is still stars, man.
Yeah. You're still coming down from there.
I fly up there every year by myself, and there's a line wrapped around the corner for signatures, and I usually donate my funds to the Walter Payton School. Walter Payton has the Walter Payton College Prep School up there, which is the #1 public school in the state of Illinois. And man, it's just phenomenal school. It's just phenomenal school, and a lot of people don't know about that, so I have to let people know. But coming to Tampa, man, meeting Leroy Selman. Leroy was still here when I got here, so watching and having a person like that, his example to the community. How many players do you know have a bridge, a bridge named after them? The Leroy Express.
Yeah. He's got the whole expressway named after him now. I take the Leroy Selman every morning to get to school.
So you tell me who else in the Hall of Fame has that. So that right there is letting you know that I had a chance to witness greatness. We actually, he chose myself and All Sports to administrate his scholarship fund since 1995. And, I had a chance to witness a lot of things away from the football field. But I was blessed to be part of a Super Bowl team, great to be part of a 1975 state championship team in Jackson, Mississippi that went undefeated. And great to be part of the 1980 Mississippi State team that beat Alabama 6-3, held the #1 team without a touchdown, and they won 28 straight games. And so I had a chance to witness a lot of what went into leadership, a lot that went into greatness. And the key thing that a lot of people don't know is you got to have some key role players who take their roles seriously. The fans might not know who they are, but you can't win without them. You can't win without them. And everybody, you can't have all superstars. And even when I started the program here, you have to have a point person, and you got to have a lot of Indians and one chief there, and so that's how it works. And that's how I realized that I can develop a championship program based on what I witnessed from the teams that I played up on. And so with that being said, I loved it here, man. I loved the weather. I loved the team. And I didn't like those 3 days with Ray Perkins, man. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, I was going to say.
3-day training camps, man. That was something that I wouldn't wish on anybody.
And, you like it enough. You came back down here. You're still living down here. I know you, how long have you been down here?
I've been out here since the Super Bowl. Off and on. Off and on. I purchased a house here right away, but I finished my career with the San Diego Chargers. And that was a beautiful thing because the state championship team that I mentioned briefly was named the Callaway Chargers. So when I got to San Diego, I was a veteran on the ball club, and I also had a chance to coach a youth football team in the off seasons there. But I knew San Diego was going to be end of the road because I had 3 major surgeries. I needed 3 major surgeries: back, shoulder, and knee. And see, back then football was real brutal because you only had 40 people on a team, so you only had 6 defensive linemen. When you have 6 defensive linemen, that means you practicing and hitting all day. You hitting twice. I'm taking the reps with the first team because the all pros like Dan Hampton, who couldn't practice because he had 2 bad knees, and Steve Michaels, he had a bad knee. And so we're taking their reps, and then we're having to take the reps of the team that that we're supposed to be assimilating against, you know. So if we play in the Green Bay Packers, then I have to contend. I'm one of the Packers defensive linemen, and so back then there was no such thing as practicing in shorts and t-shirts. Everything was full blow. But I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, man. You know, the only thing I do hate about it is that they didn't let us know the damage that could be done, you know, football-wise to concussions and things like that, because, you know, I had a few in my days too as well. So
yeah, definitely. And you brought up some of that old school football, some of that raw football, and you know, I know a lot of people are itching to hear some of the stories you have, especially with those Super Bowl Bears. I know you told me a good story the other day about Jim McMahon. But I'll let you tell some of those stories, because I know a lot of people are waiting to hear them.
Well, yeah, definitely, man. When I got to Chicago, I you know, as I look back on it, I didn't realize I was playing with some of the greatest of all times, coaches, players. Actually, I just got back from the Hall of Fame, and the offensive line coach who coached us, he's now in the Hall of Fame. He was inducted last week there, and I just remember how things were, man. Guys, he smoked all during practice, man. He smoked all during practice, and I never forget going to the pros, man. Guys coming in at halftime smoking cigarettes. Can you believe that? Who would want a cigarette at halftime? who would want a cigarette? So, but Jim McMahon, I would definitely, you know, he was just one of those characters. You're familiar with Jim McMahon, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I just want to make sure people in your audience, Jim McMahon is. I never forget when he got drafted. He showed up in the limo. He got out of the limo with a beer in his hand and went to the press conference. And you know, can you imagine a player doing that today? And he said, well, he was thirsty. He was thirsty, and it was beer in the limo, and he thought that the Bears had put it in there for him.
He almost reminds me of, you know, hearing some of these stories about him. He almost reminds me of, you know, he was kind of like this, and I'm sure it was much more off the chain when you compare the two, but he almost reminds me of like this Cam Newton of the 80s. You know, he carries himself with just this swagger that a lot of people question, but it works for him, you know?
Yeah, and I can see that the players love Cam, and they love Jim. Jim was definitely a great leader. Jim didn't have the physical attributes as a Cam Newton, but Jim definitely Jim was a little bit more out there than Cam Newton.
Yeah.
he was, well, you know, I never forget the time that Billy Joe Tolliver didn't want to sing, and that was brutal, man. The rookies have to come back after a hard day's practice, and you're listening. I mean, the guys will call you out, and they start tingling their forks against the glass there, and you just, as a rookie, you know, you just know your day is coming where you're gonna have to stand up and sing. But Billy Joe Tolliver would have been best if he would have sung that particular night, because Jim called him out, and Jim was not going to be embarrassed about the fact that Billy Joe said, "Hey, I'm not singing," and Jim said, "I can't make you sing, but I can make you wish that you had a song." And I'm looking at Billy Joe and said, "Man, go ahead and sing, man. I'm telling you." He said, "No, I ain't singing." So that night, while I was coming back from treatment, on my knees there, and I was walking back, and I seen Jim about 10 yards ahead of me, and he waved me off, because I was wondering what was he doing, and he had his shoe off, and I didn't know what he was doing. He was hiding behind a tree, and he saw a polecat. And once I saw a polecat, which is a skunk, I knew exactly to make sure I got out of harm's way.
You need to get out of there.
Yeah, oh yeah. So I had no idea what Jim was going to do, but I later saw him and I heard him scream, where's Billy Joe? I have the polecat. And I saw him running down the highway, and they said, we got Billy Joe over here. And Billy Joe was tied up, and I can hear Jim getting closer, and I can imagine what I was seeing, and Billy Joe started behind the scene. And they said, and next thing I know, Jim said, hey, I told you I can't make you sing, but I can make you wish that you had a song. It's too late. And then I heard a loud scream, as I can imagine, and what the guys told me. He pushed that polecat, that dead polecat, blood and gush and odor all into Billy Joe's face.
Oh, that's awful.
Oh, man.
You had said he couldn't. You said what? He couldn't get the smell off of him for days.
Oh man, you couldn't get that smell off, and they both, you couldn't even go near him for 2 days. And Billy Joe to this day he would tell you he wished he would have sung.
Now let me ask, did you ever sing? Did they make you sing your rookie year?
Well, when I came to Chicago, interesting thing. The year I was drafted, I came out and I was drafted number 1 by British Columbia Lions up in the CFL, and I came out. I was drafted as the 113th player by the Jets, and so I took a visit to both. And New York was a lot of hustle bustle, and the coach from BC just kept begging me to come up there, just take a visit. And I went up there, man, and I got wind that the NFL was going to go on strike the next year, which they did go on strike. And they only played 9 games that next year, and they showed up. And I eventually signed. I ended up signing with BC, and all of our games in '82 was actually shown on national TV, and I was Player of the Week that week. So when I came back to Chicago, I was considered a veteran to the players. And so I came back after 2 years, and I asked the Jets to trade my rights to Chicago. Bill Tobin, whose brother Vince Tobin was up there in Chicago, was up in B.C., highly recommended that the Bears pick me up. And I went over and worked out for Buddy Ryan, and he had us do those today, what y'all call them burpees. I thought I was gonna pass out, man. 100 burpees, and we did those all the time, man. And now I see people doing them in the gym, like for fun. And I can't believe this. But anyway, I was considered a veteran on the team by the veterans. But I came in with the year of Willie Gault, Richard Dent. We had a great recruiting class. Richard was my roommate, and Dave Durison, bless his soul there. He and I was very close. He passed away. Mike L.A. Richardson. Mike is in the Super Bowl Shuffle, has a part about L.A. Mike there. And we had 13 of us new people make the team that year. And we call ourselves the Dirty Dozen +1. And I was at +1. And so I didn't have to sing to answer your question.
All right, that's good though. That's good. I'm glad you didn't have to. I'm glad you weren't put in a situation like that.
But Kelly, I will tell you this: we did sing the Super Bowl Shuffle 2 years later.
Yeah, but
and the Super Bowl Shuffle, man. What people don't know about the Super Bowl Shuffle, which I wish they would know, but the person who owns the rights to the Super Bowl Shuffle won't let nobody play it because she wants this astronomical amount of money per minute to play it. But we actually, the Super Bowl Shuffle almost didn't even take root because we thought it would be a jinx. We were 12-0. There's this opportunity about singing this song. 12-0. Everybody said, nah, we can't do it. Can't do it. We go down to Miami. Most watched Monday night game ever in the history of NFL football. And I'm watching my childhood heroes on the sideline, man. Larry Zonka, Bob Greasy, Jim Kick, Merker Mars. They just they standing there like icons, man, daring us to break that record. And everything that can go wrong went wrong, man.
Oh man.
We we lost 38-21. We came back, got on the flight. Everybody said, "Hey, forget it. We're going to the studio in the morning. We're going to the studio. We're gonna do it." And so everybody said, "We're not going to even negotiate about the price. We're going to donate all the money to charity. We finna roll everybody. We're gonna run everybody over, and we're gonna talk about it while we're doing it. We're gonna sing about it."
See that?
We went there, man. I got up that morning. It was 11 degrees. I never forget it. And so I called up a couple of guys. I always call Mike Singletary just to double check with him because he was a leader. And I said, "Man, we really gonna do this?" And he said, "Yeah, Walter said, let's go for it." And we went down there, man, and we shot that about 10:30 that morning. We got there, and they had Bloody Marys for everybody, and they said, "Go to an instrument that you're familiar with." I went to the keyboards, and I remember, I'd taken piano lessons, so I knew a little bit about the keyboards there. I took piano lessons until the piano teacher and the kids in the neighborhood used to make fun of me every time the piano man came driving up while we was having a good football game going, and then everybody said, "He got to go play piano." Then when I was in there, the guy was beating on my knuckles. That's how he used to do it. You make a mistake on the keyboard, he hit you with a ruler.
Oh, man.
And I just got tired. I got tired of it, but little did I know, I was glad to see. I was glad that the little bit that I did learn could translate into assimilating into the Super Bowl shuffle there. Matter of fact, I was just watching a piece of it on that 85 documentary that they'll be showing this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And so the beauty of that, we gave all the money to charity, and that was one of my first charitable obligations as a NFL player. And I just never forgot it, man. The feeling of going down there that Thanksgiving and Christmas to donate stuff to the homeless, and just love that feeling, man. And just been involved ever since. And I always tell people, man, it took a lot of faith to do that, because we would have had egg on our face had we sung about it and lost,
Yeah, and I mean, I was gonna say that takes a team with swagger. I mean, I don't know if I can think of any team over the past 10 years that could have not, and it wasn't even like you guys were, a week away from the Super Bowl. You guys are several weeks out before the Super Bowl. You write a song, you make a music video talking about how, like you said, you're just gonna steamroll people and sing while doing it. That takes swagger, man.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, actually, we were at game 12 when we lost. We shot it right after the game. But the moral of that story to me, I always say, we shot that video in adverse conditions after a loss, and we got up. It was 11 degrees, man. You had to drive an hour to get downtown, and we did it before any talk to take root. Because had we, a lot of times I always tell people, like, when you do something and you fail, you might as well get up and do it right away before it can take root. Because had it took root, because the media was already going to be talking about it. The Bears are vulnerable. But hey, a week later they heard the Super Bowl shuffle. That erased all doubts. That erased all doubts, man. That's good to be going back down memory lane with some of these stories there.
Yeah, man, that's great.
Mr. Keys, Evan here. I just had a quick question. You were on the '85 Bears, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, defense of all time. Obviously, you guys are a confident team. Heading into the locker room before that Super Bowl, what was your confidence level? Like, what was the locker room? What was the locker room?
Oh yeah, well, the night before the game, well, we had shut out two people. We shut out the Giants 20-0, and then we shut out the Giants. They got 0 points. Then we shut out the Rams. They got 0 points. So we really was going for another shutout. But that didn't happen. They ended up scoring the first 3 points of the game. And they they felt like they still talking like they should have won the game of a play here and there, but shoot, it was 35-6 at halftime. And I already had told them we were getting our ring sized up at halftime. We wouldn't even that game wasn't close at all, man. It was, and we had beaten them early in the year too. So
yeah, my stepdad's a die-hard Pats fan. So when I told him the other day, I was like, the '85 Bears, and his response was, yeah, don't remind me, because you guys had beat. And it took me a second. I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean? He's like, you don't remember? Well, I didn't remember, but he told me, he was like, yeah, they played the Patriots that Super Bowl. They beat us like 45-10 or something like that. I remember the score was just astronomical. I was like, oh yeah, well I'm gonna have
26-10. We still upset that they even got 10.
Hey, that's good, and that's gotta feel good, definitely. When you're really focused on the game and you can go in there and perform like that. But that was a good question. I know we were gonna talk about the Super Bowl sooner or later, but what was, when that clock struck 0?
Hey, hold on 1 second. I might have a guest calling in. Hold on.
All right, man, no problem. All right, guys, Mr. Keys, once again, Mr. Tyrone Keys on the show. He was a defensive lineman, starting DN.
Hello?
Hold on.
Tyrone?
Hello?
Hello? Hi, Tyrone. Who am I speaking to?
This is Rich Lenkoff. You called me earlier about the...
Oh, Rick. Okay, I'm glad you called. I'm on this radio show. I remember from the '85 Bears here, we got talking, and you just happened to call in, and I was telling them about the '85 Bears having a documentary that's going to be upcoming, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, do you want to call me back, or...
No. I mean, you could just talk a little bit about it. I just saw you called in, and I said, I think this call is from Chicago.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Are you still there, Rich? Rhett?
What's up?
Yes.
Are you still here? I got one of the producers on who I was just sharing about the '85 Bears is having a documentary that's being showcased this weekend, right?
Yeah, it's actually broadcasting on Tuesday. We're doing a sort of a sneak preview for friends and family on Saturday.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. I just happened to be doing a radio show with one of the students at Blake High School where I work, and he has a sports talk show, and it was supposed to start at 6:00, but they had they moved it back, so he took me down memory lane with the '85 Bears here. So I was just telling him he wasn't even born. I can't believe he knows so much about the Bears, but anyway, you happen to call in, so I just say I'll let you talk a little bit about that documentary there, and maybe he have a question or two for you.
Am I on the radio now?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You're on the show. We're recording for another sports podcast, so you are on the show.
Okay.
No pressure. No pressure.
Oh, that's okay. I actually do a radio show myself, and I'm the legal analyst for WGN, so no problem at all.
Oh, nice.
What can I answer for you? I'm happy to.
Well, I was just taking him down memory lane with the '85 Bears, and after we lost to the Miami Dolphins, and how we decided to shoot their Super Bowl shuffle, and he is just shocked that we were actually shot that the very next morning after we lost 38-21. But how we all went to the studio and said, hey, we're gonna shoot this, man. And I just never forget, it was 11 degrees that morning, and I got up and called Singletary and said, man, we really gonna do this? We really gonna sing this song, man, after 38-21 loss, and we're not gonna watch film and get berated after that game? And he said, hey, man, we're gonna go for it. We're going for it, and the rest is history, man. And I've used that story so often with so many kids over the years who were going through trials and tribulations. I say, hey, man, this is what happened to us in our darkest moment in the most watched game ever in the history of NFL. We got beat 38-21, and we came back, shot Super Bowl shuffle, didn't nobody argue over the money. We just said, hey, the money go to charity, whether you went there or not. We just decided, hey, this is what we're going to do, and the rest is history.
Let me ask you this question. What did anyone in that room, in the recording studio, stop and say to each other, maybe this is not a great idea to talk about the Super Bowl shuffle? We're not done. We're not even in the playoffs yet. Did anyone say that, or you guys were so confident that you said, what the hell?
We were so confident, man. I was shocked that everybody showed up who said that they were going to show up. And there were some guys who were against it, but the right people showed up with what we needed to do. And the two people that we needed to get the stamp of approval on was Walter and Mike Singletary. And the rest is history, man. It's just that, we came in there was some Bloody Marys in there at 10:30, and there you go. You go to an instrument that you're familiar with. And I was sharing the story. I had a little piano background back in the day. So that was the first thing I went to, was that. And I was shocked from Kevin Thomas and Stephon Humphrey. Stephon was on the drums, and it looked just like he had a history of drums, but he told me he never did. And
that's amazing.
When he beat those drums, man, and after 2 or 3 Bloody Marys, man, we were rocking in there. We were rocking.
That's amazing. What was the look on Ditka's face when you guys told him the next day or whenever it was that you had just shot something called the Super Bowl Shuffle?
I don't know what his was, but I did see where he made one himself. A video of himself that didn't go off too good, but at that time, man, it was such a, if Buddy Ryan said it was okay for us to do it. And at that time, man, all they really cared about whether we played. I do know that they told us we didn't have to watch film the next day, and that was a great thing.
Oh, yeah, that's a deal breaker right there.
We didn't have to watch film.
Bloody Marys.
And at the time, once Jim McMahon got on the team, we had a lot of leeway. It was a lot of leeway because Jim was doing something every single night. We'd come in for the meetings. We'd come in and meet. Dicker stands up before the group, and he said, Jim, did you have to take her? You couldn't get a hotel room. You couldn't go to... Do you have to go to the cemetery every time you get a girl or something? It was always something. It was always something. And I never forget the story about Richard. Now, Richard and I, we were roommates. And so we used to ride together from Schaumburg to Buffalo Grove Lake Forest every single day. And so one morning I go by to pick up Richard. And Richard said, I'm not going to practice today. I said, what's going on? He said, well, I got some chores to do around the house. I'm like, chores? So I just drove on to practice. And man, so Richard got there a little later on. And man, Coach Dicker was so mad. Now this is before Richard did his Richard did. This is his rookie. This is his second year. His third year was when he won the Super Bowl and he was MVP. And he walks in the middle of the meeting, but Richard don't know why everybody was laughing. But Mike Dicker had said, hey, I don't mind guys calling me if they got something serious going on. But he said, William Perry called and told me his mom was sick. And he said, that's excusable. But I haven't got, dog, don't ever call me and tell me your interior designer is coming to your house today and you got to be there. and so when Richard walks in, he don't know that Dicker has told us this story. And he walks in, and everybody started Otis them, hey, your interior decorator, Colonel, your interior decorator, we call it Richard Colonel. And Dicker was looking at him. He said, well, you let Walter do it? And he said, don't ever mention your name in the breath with Walter. But Richard was bold like that, man. He was bold, and he felt like he belonged, and he felt like his interior designer came before practice.
That's hilarious. I never heard that story. That's so funny.
Oh yeah. So that was
What's the one, like, if you could tell us one story that no one's heard before? You know, everyone's heard a lot of the good stuff.
Oh yeah, make it an exclusive.
Give us the exclusive right here on this radio show. I wish we could have got it for the film.
Yeah, guys, another sports podcast. This is an exclusive from the 85 Bears. Lay it on us, Mr. Keys.
85 Bears story.
Give us the juice.
Well, you know, there was always refrigerated period stories. I know I've heard a lot of the stories, but Fridge and I, we became very close. We became extremely close after. I never forget the first day of practice, and some of this you probably heard, Rich, but I never forget when we came out for the second practice. I was waiting on William, and he said, "I'm not going out there today." And I say, "Man," I said, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, you know, I lost 22 pounds, and the rate that I'm losing weight, you know, they gonna probably move me to running back or wide receiver." And I'm like, he said, "I'm not going back out there. I lost 22 pounds." And so I go out there and tell Buddy. He said, "Where's Fat Boy?" And he said he's not. He's not coming out.
You guys called him Fat Boy?
That's what Buddy called him. Buddy called, and then that's when Buddy called him a wasted draft pick. You might remember that story. And so Fridge was in the doghouse up until he was up in the doghouse. Nobody spoke to him or anything. So he and I would go to the Chicago Health Club every night, man, and we would work out. And he lost down to 50 pounds. He lost 50 pounds, man, and when we got ready to play the San Francisco 49ers, I saw Mike Dick over there with the running backs and Johnny Rowland, and Fridge and I was coming out for practice. I said, "Man, they're gonna put you over there." You know, that was, you know, that story you talked about. They're gonna move you to running back. I guarantee you, they're gonna put you at running back this game, because I know how Mike Dicker was thinking with that revenge from the previous year when they put William McIntyre in the backfield. He was an offensive guard. They put him in the backfield, put Freddie Solomon at quarterback and Joe Montana at receiver. And I know, you know, Coach Dicker never forgot it. So they put William in at that game. They put William in, and of course, nothing really transpired. He only got a couple yards. But then it was Monday Night Football. So me Fridge and I are very close now, and so I got a Monday night. I got a Tuesday night engagement for myself for $3,500 to go to a sports bar. And I said, "William, you can tag along with me, man." I said, "Can William come along?" You talking about, you know, William Perry? I said, yeah. I'd like for him to get a couple $1,000. And so we got the deal set. You know, I'm riding to practice. They got my name over the marquee that I'm going to be there. That Monday night, you know, Fred scores these touchdowns. That Tuesday morning, he's on Good Morning America. And then he calls me. He said, "TK, you know, that $2,000 ain't going to get it. I need it." I said, "What's your rate?" He said, "It's $10,000. I said, "What?" I ride by there. My name is William Refrigerator Perry. My name is in small print, and I'm like, "William's negotiating for me now." and the rest is history, man. Everywhere, literally, it went up. His rate went up to $20,000 that year.
Oh, nice.
Oh my God!
I'm talking about overnight. Overnight.
Yeah, literally overnight. Literally.
What's that?
Yeah, literally overnight, right? I mean,
overnight. I'm talking about overnight. And the way it went down when William got mad at Coach Dicker. Coach Dicker fined him. I'll never forget. I was riding with him, and he was saying Coach Dicker had fined him for being overweight. And then by 10, 15 pounds. And he said, "I'm going to teach him a lesson." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I'm going to gain 50 on him."
So he was ready to fine him for being 10, 15 pounds overweight. He came to you. He said I'll gain 50.
I'm gonna teach Coach Dick. I'm gonna teach Coach Dick. I won't fight it. But some of the stories I really can't tell on the air. Ain't too X-rated, man.
That's all right.
But man, what a fun team that was, man, and being able to get with those guys. Being able to get with those guys 4 years ago, go up to the White House, and man, I'm just, and to see those guys had not changed. But the irony of that trip was the pecking order. I seen how a guy like Jeff Fisher, who was like, he was like on injured reserve, and all of a sudden he's a head coach. At that time, he's the head coach, so he's sitting up front on the airplane versus, just to see the pecking order of that, and just seeing the camaraderie, seeing some of the ball boys who were like 16 and 17 years of age and see them as adults. The fact that the Bears did invite all the secretaries, everybody who worked at the office had a chance to fly on that flight with us, man. It was just a beautiful thing. Felt like you were in some type of time warp, but you were going, it just felt.
It was like a reunion.
Especially when we were actually meeting at the same terminal, out there at the same place. So
yeah, it
was just a fun group of guys who still love getting together with everybody. It's just a beautiful thing there.
Now, yeah, and that's great, man, hearing about that stuff. Mr. Rich, are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm right here. I'm just listening. I'm amazed by the story.
All right.
Well, Rich, what made you, you guys, when did you guys start filming the story?
We've been at it for 2 years. Sort of came to me. I was actually at the Chicago Auto Show with my son, who was 4 at the time. I saw, a huge line, people waiting in line. I was wondering who the celebrity was at the end of this line that people were waiting like hundreds deep for. And sure enough, it was Sean Gale. And it sort of sparked me to think, man, it's 30 years later, and you guys are such superstars that people are still, a few hundred deep waiting to meet you.
Yeah.
Meet Sean Gale.
That's
just
why
dawned on me that how you.
No, sorry about that.
The thing that happened, and I was just sharing this earlier with Rhett. They fly me up to Chicago, and it's a 2-hour wait to see me, man. And I was a role player. I was a role player on the team, and I just felt so bad about getting the money. I said, hey, I donated it to Walters High School, which is the #1 public school in the state of Illinois, and I go there every year, and we give out a scholarship to kids there. And I said, man, if I'm not blessed for this opportunity to be still going on these many years later, I'm going to get, I got with Connie, and we give out a scholarship there. So last year the kid ended up going to the University of Illinois. The money helps pay for his books and everything, but man, I just couldn't believe it neither. And it's been going on for the last 5 years that I go up here, and the line is wrapped around the corner, and people are standing there saying, man, I'm almost through with my whole list of guys, So for the out-of-towners, they're waiting on us to get there so that they can fulfill their Christmas list to give out something, a memorabilia with the complete team on it.
Yeah.
Well, it's well-deserved. And you guys, superstars then, you continue to be superstars, and the whole city loves you guys still to this day.
Yeah, so how long did the filming take place? How long from start to finish?
Yeah, we were done fairly quickly. We still had some interviews we were finishing, and we had President Obama. That obviously took a little bit of time. We had Bill Murray, but we were delayed for a few different reasons. I mean, we're a small budget movie, independent film, and then there was of course the ESPN documentary. So took a little while for us to get everything clear, but yeah, the final product, I think will do you guys proud, and it looks really good.
When now you said
our team just did a documentary, our 75 state championship team, and we had a private showing, and we're going to do a little one that's a little bigger. But we were a team, the first year of integration, that won the last team in Jackson, Mississippi. That's where Walter went to school, Jackson State. Right, won the state championship, went unbeaten. And that was no other team has done it in 50 years. First year of integration, all of us meet, and then we win the state championship. 21 out of 22 starters end up going off to college, and it's just one of those unique stories where our running back on the team, who ended up signing with Jackson State, was being considered the next Walter Payton, and he dies. He dies his freshman year, and his little brother, who played nose tackle for us, he wrote the story and produced it.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
He was a 5'6", 155-pound nose tackle.
Oh, yeah. You sure?
Yeah. He played right beside me. We were like Mud and Jeff.
That's crazy.
So,
5'6",
I'll shoot both of y'all some information on it, because I would love to. How can we get a copy of your film there? The 85 Bears film.
Well, I'll send you a copy as soon as we have the showing. Here, I can send you a digital copy. Yeah, for sure. I'll be happy to send you a copy. Probably in the next week or two. Yeah, I'd love to hear what you think of it.
Yeah, you got the Wilbur Marshall touchdown run against the Rams.
I don't know if that's making. We have some. We have NFL film footage. We're still, deciding what's from the final cut. So we're not using that much NFL films because, it's expensive, but we do have.
I know. You got but you got to show the Wilbur Marshall run, because that's when it's snowing and going on, and that's when you're breaking the ice.
Yeah.
That's 63. That's 60, and then I'm being biased too, because I made the block that sprung him loose.
Well, it has to be, for sure.
Yeah, I sprung him loose on that blocking Eric Dickinson. So that would be definitely and plus, yeah. So I'm being biased.
Well, let's keep in touch, because I'd love to talk further. I'd love to see your film and see what else we can do together.
Oh yeah. Well, it was great having you on, man, and timing is everything, man. Great for calling, great for me reaching out to you a couple hours ago, and thanks for having me on the show too, Rhett. I know you didn't expect all of this.
No, man, it's all right. We appreciate you coming on. We really do.
Okay. All right. Are we wrapping up, or are you wrapping up with Rich here?
Maybe if you wanted to talk, I know we could probably close out here fairly soon. I didn't know if, I have my co-host Evan here. Evan, did you have any more questions?
I've got to run.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much, man.
No, thank you.
I'll email you and touch bases with you later.
That'd be great. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you for coming on. Okay.
I think Evan has his mic turned off. Evan, you still here, buddy? I don't know if he can hear us, but I did want to, it was great hearing some of those stories about, about your tenure with the Bears and just your career in general. And,
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. As I was saying, it was, it was great hearing all those stories about your career in general and, your tenure with the Bears, hearing about the Super Bowl shuffle, everything. All of that is awesome stuff to hear. It really is. It's great to listen to every time you tell a story. But, I didn't know if there was anything in particular you had wanted to close out with, or, anything that was on your mind that you wanted to discuss. Maybe you wanted to talk about some of the state of the NFL today. It's really up to you at this point.
Well, I think what we just witnessed here is and just like how you and I ran across each other, and I always tell people, if you live your life in a box, you miss out on a whole lot. There's great to have discipline, but you gotta have latitude. Okay, I met you a week or so ago. You shared with what you were doing, and here I am today. I get an email from the Chicago Bears about coming out next week to the documentary, and the producer calls me back, and somehow I decide that it would be okay just to chime him in. And now you might have a friend there, and we got a friend and somebody that was able to share with us. So it's always, and that's what that Bears team taught me, man. We were so unorthodox. But when it came time to work, we worked. When it came time to think outside the box, we said we don't have to do it this way. The great thing that I will never forget about that team is the year after the Super Bowl where the Patriots swore that they had several people on their team that had taken drugs. And so that way the NFL wanted to test everybody. Once again, tell your stepdad they don't have to use that excuse about drugs. They just got drunk.
I'll make sure I let them know.
Every team submitted to the drug test except for the Chicago Bears, and they came in and they tried to strong arm us. But the guy who was administering the test, he said, "You guys don't have to do it." He said, "If there's only one team that can stand up, it's you guys." And the ownership tried to talk the rookies and scare them. If you guys don't submit to it, this is what's going to happen. Mike Singletary was a team player rep for the union. I never forget. He stood up and he asked the guys. He asked the GM to leave the room. He said, "Let me talk to my men." As he was talking to us, something told him to go open the door. When he opened the door, the guy had his ear to the door. He literally fell into the room.
Oh.
Mike Singletary said, "See, they can't be trusted." And he said, "For any of you rookies, if you get caught, if I catch you submitting to a urine test, you better have some hot nuts, because I'm going to be after you." And Mike Singletary said, "There's no practice this afternoon." And that is what it's all about. When you got a group of guys who do something like that, and he say, "Hey, we're gonna go do the Super Bowl shuffle. We gonna," and everything is up on board. That's what I learned from that team, man. Is that everybody needs to be one heartbeat, and that's what I love when I came to Tampa and I was able to witness this core group of guys, and a lot of those guys end up finding out what I was doing in the community. Derrick Brooks in 1995, Mike Allstott in 1996, John Lynch in 94. Those guys say, "Hey, Tyrone, we want to help."
Yeah.
And so there was nothing. I was not surprised when I saw the run that they had for those years, and see how dominant they were, because of a core group of guys, strong in character and strong in leadership, on and off the field. I was blessed to be able to witness that, and so that's what I'm like, because what I like talking to young people about is that football is a non-transferable skill, but the things that you can take away from it, the commitment, the love for each other, to have each other's back, that's what you can take away, and that's how you can teach success. And, just like I said, I could be out there on the football field at Blake, but I prefer walking all over Blake, trying to help young people like yourself get into help you guys on your quest. And so that's what it's about for me.
Yeah, and that's amazing, Mr. Keys. Now, Mr. Keys, I do want to thank you for coming on to the show tonight. I really, really appreciate it. I'm sure Evan, my co-host, appreciates it as well. Evan, you still here with us, buddy?
Yep. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you as well for coming on. It really helps us to have to have guests, and some of your stories were absolutely great and insane.
Oh well, let's do this. From time to time, if you want to, speak to some other former players or active players, just get with me, man, and see what's up and coming, and see what topics you want to talk about, especially game week, high school, college, or the pros. I'd love to assist and continue to connect the dots with you guys.
Oh, for sure. That is awesome, man. We appreciate that. We really, really do. I will.
Yeah, thanks.
I will definitely get back to you. I know I see you around campus every once in a while, so I'll definitely touch base with you sometime in the future. But once again, I do want to thank you for coming on, and hopefully we can have you on again sometime soon.
Oh, you're welcome. You guys have a great evening.
All right, you too, Mr. Keys. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, dude. I mean, I don't even know what to say right now.
Oh man, some of them stories were something.
Yeah, it's just that's great stuff, man. It really, really is. That makes us happy. I'm sure it makes him happy, and it's great hearing all those stories from the classic and, as you stated, one of the greatest defenses of all time, man. The 1985 Chicago Bears, the monsters of the Midway. Oh man, that's crazy. And he said he has some connections, and he does have some connections down here in Tampa. He hangs out with Jameis a good bunch. So, maybe
Oh man.
I mean, maybe, man, maybe there's a chance. But ladies and gentlemen, that is just about going to do it for this episode of another sports podcast.
Announce what we got going on for tomorrow or not, so.
Yeah, man, what we'll do really quick, guys, quick announcement. I almost forgot, man, thank you. Quick announcement, guys, as we close out the show, we have another guest. It's a little bit up in the air right now, but we have been talking to him the past few days. Mr. Mark Cook, the editor-in-chief of thepewterreport.com. Now, if you're not familiar with thepewterreport.com, that is the official news website for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So if you need any news on the Bucs, go check it out, pewterreport.com. But Mark Cook, the editor-in-chief, should be here on ASP coming up here kind of soon. Like I said, it just depends. We've been talking to him.
Yeah, he'll be on. We're going to ask him a couple questions. He'll be on to preview the Browns-Bucs game, which is happening Friday night. So, we're going to be talking Jameis. We're going to be talking a hot topic, Roberto Aguayo. We're going to be talking all that. So be sure to tune in.
Yeah, man. Definitely going to be a great episode. It's great having guests on the show. But ladies and gentlemen, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you enjoy the show, leave a thumbs up, man. We really appreciate that. But once again, a big thank you to Mr. Tyrone Keys for everything he does in the community, including coming on to another sports podcast. Cannot thank him enough. But ladies and gentlemen, Evan, any last words, my friend?
Nothing, man. It was a great show.
It was a great show, yes sirree. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, that's just about going to do it for this episode of another sports podcast. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time for episode 7.